Hey, you pressed play. Awesome. It's LaShanda Henry here, creator of Sister Sense, the place where I help you make sense of making money online. And today I get the pleasure of sharing with you the first two steps in my four-step system to converting browsers to buyers online. Now, contrary to popular belief, you need more than traffic to get more sales on your website. Have you ever heard of conversion marketing? It's actually really important because before you can even consider getting people to buy what you sell, they have to buy what you say. You know, that whole know, like, and trust factor that people are always talking about? Now, there are actually strategies that you need to know if you want to convert more of your website visitors into actual customers. I know there are a ton of different ways you can market online. Online marketing, email marketing, video marketing, blog marketing. They're just, you name it. There are a ton of different strategies. Social media marketing. You know, there are people who they'll come to you, the gurus, quote unquote gurus, and they'll tell you, okay, well, this is the next social media platform that you need to be on. This is the next content management system that you need to use. This is the ultimate lead generator to build your list. But at the end of the day, if you cannot convert people, if you cannot convince your browsers to see the value in what you offer so that they go from browsers to buyers, then all that other stuff, all those other marketing channels ain't worth a can of beans. And I'm being honest. And I'm sure if you've tried these marketing strategies before in one way, shape, or form, if you're not getting the kind of sales that you want, or if you see that there is room for improvement, you know that I'm not lying and I'm telling you the absolute truth. If you cannot convert people, if you cannot get people to buy what you say before they buy what you sell, you're not going to create the kind of business that I know that you're looking to have online. So here's the deal. The best marketing strategy that you can try right now is to get better at conversion marketing, okay? So before I get into the first two steps, what I want to talk about with you is how people are doing it wrong. Now, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but it's good to have a reality check so we can talk about what goes wrong and how you can make it right, all right? So there are actually two things that I see clients do all the time. And, I know I've been online for 15 years now, but I even made these mistakes in the beginning. The first thing being is you try really, 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 really hard to create a super product. And when I say that, I think about this old school commercial where it's like, it dices, it slices, it julienne fries, you know, trying to create this product that does everything and appeals to everyone, because ultimately the idea is, well, if I create the perfect product, there's nothing that I need to sell. There's no great website that I need to create. It's just going to sell itself. You know, it's going to be easy. Even though entrepreneurs at the end of the day roll up your sleeves and you put in the work, you do the hustle, you grind out, you always want to try and figure out that magic technique to make things easier and for people to just kind of see what you want and just pull out their credit cards and go, oh my God, I want to buy now, right? So you put yourself in this space where you're trying to create this super product. I mean, you could just kind of look at yourself in the mirror and you see your eyebrows, one is up, one is down, like you're sweating, you're clenching, you're like, oh my God, you're on your carpet, you're brainstorming, you're like, if I could just figure out this perfect product. But here's the deal. There's no such thing as a super product. Okay. Now, while there are so many amazing products in this world that make our lives better, it's almost impossible for you to put everything into one product. I know I can't. I don't even want to know what that landing page would look like as far as all the features and bullets and things like that. It's just crazy. So at the end of the day, I don't want you to sit there and try to fixate on how you can create a mega package, a mega program, the perfect product that's going to appeal to everybody. Because look, that's just not the way to go. Because if I say to you right now, what's your best offer? Who's it for? And you say, well, it's for anybody. It's for everybody. That is the wrong answer. You want to make sure that you're not trying to overwork your brain, overwork yourself, your business, your team, your energy, trying to create that next big super product. Okay. That's number one. Number two, a lot of people go wrong by trying really, really, really hard to find the perfect price. I do what I like to call my clarity sessions. I get on the line with my mentees and we talk about all the things that they need to know and how they can get clear about what they should be focused on. I can't tell you how many times folks get on the line with me and the first thing they say to me is, LaShanda, what do you think about this price? Do you think they'll buy it? Do you think this is worth? This will work? Is this a good one? Is this a good one? And I always say to them, I know you don't want to hear this, but I cannot tell you the perfect price. That is not the question that you should be asking right now, because honestly, there is no one perfect price for that mega product. I mean, okay, there's a lot that goes into pricing, don't get me wrong, but what I'm trying to tell you here is that when you're putting your products and your packages and your programs together, if you're trying to kill yourself to come up with a price that's going to appeal to everybody, that is impossible. It just doesn't work that way. So let me give you, to me, the most hilarious example I can come up with, and it's getting chicken at the dollar store. I know you're gonna laugh, but I'm a sister girl and I got to connect with my sister girls, and this is just something that it just kind of made me laugh, and I think that it really speaks to this understanding the concept of you cannot create or find the perfect price that's going to work for everybody. So I'll never forget the day that I realized they actually have a frozen food section in the dollar store. I said, wow, the recession is not a joke. The struggle is real. Folks need to get food at the dollar store, just kind of stretch that budget. Look, I ain't mad at you. I've been in that frozen food section a couple times myself. Like, oh, okay. Didn't know they had that there. But that's a side note. Now, what was hilarious about checking that section out is the day that they put chicken. They put chicken in the frozen food section. I was like, wow, you can get chicken at the dollar store. Hey, ain't mad at you. If you need to stretch that budget, I know what it's like when times are hard, so you got to do what you got to do. But point being, getting back to the point at hand, now there are customers who need to be in that space because they've got to stretch that dollar. They're on a tight budget. They need to go to the dollar store, okay? Now then, you've got those of us who will say, you know what, I've got my local supermarket that I absolutely love. Depending upon where you are, you've got your Winn-Dixie, you've got your Pathmart, you got your what do we have here? We got our Lowe's Foods, our you name it. There's so many different local stores. Or you've got the mega Walmart, right? You're going to your local neighborhood Walmart. Point being, you step up from saying, okay, well, I'm not getting that dollar chicken at the the dollar store. I need to get a good parcel of packs, $6, $7, $8 at my local supermarket, right? Then you've got that next level of customer that's like, look, I don't do nothing if it ain't in bulk. If I'm not getting it at BJ's, Costco's, or Sam's Club, I'm not buying it because I'm a budget conscious shopper, and bulk is the way for me to go. So that shopper, they're cool with spending $15, $16, $17 more, or I should say overall, on that parcel of chicken because they're going to get a whole big parcel in bulk, stretch it out, and do what they need to do. Then you've got that other customer, right? The customer who says, oh no, I don't buy my chicken at the local supermarket. I only buy organic. So they go to the fresh markets and the Whole Foods, and they're willing to spend more. They don't even care at some point what the price is. They don't even look at the price. They're just like, it says organic, it's good for me, and they pick it up. And I say that because you always will see that good, better, best factor. People who are looking just for the good, they can deal with the $1 or the $5. People who are looking for better and budget conscious, and they can go to that next step. People who want the best, they don't care about the price. They flossing, they doing what they need to do. They're at a price point, or they're at a level of comfort in their life where they're willing to pay whatever the cost to get the best of what they want, which means, again, that you can't sit there and try to rack your brain coming up with a price that everybody's gonna like, because at some point somebody is going to either go for the lower price, the higher price, or the one in the middle. And when you just kind of try to find that one that you feel like will work for everyone, you're actually doing a disservice to your clients and a disservice to yourself. Because guess what? And this is specifically for those of you who kind of want a deep discount and drop it like it's low, because if it's cheap enough, they'll buy it, sort of a thing. Like, they don't even care what it is. If it's cheap enough, they'll just buy it. I don't know where that comes from, but the mentality is there. the reality is when you drop it that low, there are people who would probably have paid way more for your product, package, program, or service, and you lost that money. You left it on the table because you're so anxious, and the struggle, it's so real when it comes to bringing in sales. You're using price as the primary determining factor of presenting your value, right, to the world. So those are two things that people absolutely do wrong. And like I said, I don't want to hurt your feelings now, but reality check is you want to be conscious of that and realize there is actually a better way to go. Now, at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to create a super product to appeal to everyone, to do everything, nor are you going to be able to create a super price that's going to make everybody happy, okay? So look at it as such. There's a better way to go, which takes me into what we're talking about today, the first step of my 4-step system, okay? Now, I think about, when I talk about kind of, attracting clients, finding clients, converting browsers into buyers, I always say, throw that concept of, how you attract your target audience. Throw that concept out the door. I don't talk about attracting the target audience. I focus on the target person, because at the end of the day, when somebody is looking at your website, or they find you on social media, or they're watching your video on YouTube, it's just that one person. It's not 20 people in a room. It's not like that person embodies 50,000 people at one time. It's just that one person. So if you cannot create a connection, if you cannot talk to that one person as if you two are sitting together in a room, or, when you go to a store and you're talking to that salesperson, if you cannot simulate that process with the potential buyer, you're not going to convince them that they should buy your products. You're not going to be able to close the deal. See, where people go wrong is they try to be too general, too broad, let me see how I can appeal, or I can create this conversation or create this sales copy that's going to hit every damn body, But at the end of the day, it's not about everybody. It's about that one unique person, right? Think about when you go down the cereal aisle, how many good for goodness there cereals there are. My goodness, there are just a ton of them. Why? Because one cereal is going to appeal to one person versus the other one that appeals to the other person. The gluten-free, the 15,000 colors, Sugar Rush for the kids, the one with raisins, the one with nuts. You've got to create your product not to appeal to everybody, but that one person. So my first step, really, the first step when I work with my target person, and I will say this, my target person is a woman. I work a lot with women entrepreneurs, specifically those women entrepreneurs who either want to build their websites or make their websites better. All I do every day is that. Now, mind you, I love the ladies that I work with as they love me, but a lot of men come to me as well. So I do have male clients, but at the end of the day, we always have a target, right? So my target person is a woman. And at the end of the day, the first thing that I do is I give her one thing that she wants. And that's important. I know it sounds simple, but let me tell you, it's a loaded statement. Step number 1 is to give her one thing that she wants. I can't give her everything in one shot. Again, that landing page would be crazy. I can only give her one thing that she wants. That's how you're going to appeal to people. That's how you're going to get them to go, ooh, what's that? That shiny object, when you look at the cats and they take that laser and throw it on the wall, and the cats are like, ooh, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? I can only give her one thing that she wants that makes her go, what's that? Let me take a look. Spark that interest. Okay? And then I do step number 2. Now we're going to talk about these 4 steps inside browsers to buyers, but that's over at, bootcamp.sistasense.com. That's where the whole browsers to buyers bootcamp is. But first we want to talk about these 2 steps. Once I get to a space where I focus on giving her one thing that she wants, what I want to do in that process is step number 2. I want to show her everything, or for me, a lot. I want to show her as much as I possibly can show her that I know what I know about that one thing. I got to put my foot in it, all right? I've got to really convince her that I'm credible, I'm an expert, I've got the goods, I know what she needs, because if I can show her that I know what she wants to know about this one thing, I'm on the way. Because now there are 2 or more steps. There are 4 steps that I need to get to before she opens up her pocketbook, takes out that credit card, and says, yes, Lord, I'm ready to buy Sister Sense. I need that. Before I can get to that point, there are 2 steps to go. But the first 2 steps of the 4 steps is that I've got to give her one thing that she wants, and I have to show her that I know what I know about that one thing. So let me give you a perfect example of that. I have the first thing, actually, when you go over to Browsers to Buyers, you participate in my 5-session intensive there. The first thing that we do is we go through my Browsers to Buyers clarity session. Like I said before, I do clarity calls with clients. And, of all the things that you can do, if you can't get clear about what you should be doing next, you're going to be stuck. Right? That analysis paralysis is like, oh, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. So for me, it's all about clarity first, right? So when you look at all the different things that you have, I think about my many offers. One of them is my blogging for beginners offer. Okay. So you look at your offer and you say, okay, well, how do I position myself in a space where I'm giving people what they want and I'm showing them, what I know? How does that work? Well, when I think about this concept of blogging for beginners, I think about that woman entrepreneur who knows she needs to blog. What does she want? Well, one of the things she wants is visuals, okay? Because a lot of the ladies in my circle are non-technical. So I can't come up in the, that space and I can't sit there talking about, well, you need to upload this JPEG and you need to HTML this and, PHP that. Their eyes will glaze over and they'll be like, look, no, she's not for me. She don't get that. Girl, I don't get this. I want you to either do it for me or break it down. I need to see something. I don't get this. So I know that for the woman I am trying to reach when it comes to blogging for beginners, she wants some visuals. She wants somebody who's going to break this stuff down as non-technical as possible, hold her hand and walk her through the process. So in doing that, my first step is to create trainings, is to create blog articles, is to create a webinar where she can actually get on the webinar with me. And it's kind of like I'm virtually holding her hand and I'm saying, okay, look, this is how you install the blog. This is how you add a photo. This is how you add some video. And she goes, oh my God, I love you. This is what I wanted. I wanted somebody to help me get the beginning steps. I wanted somebody to break it down for me and not make me feel like I was crazy or, I was a baby because, oh my God, this is new to me. I wanted somebody to help. And being able to create those visuals in the process of giving her what she wants, I'm showing her what I know. So she's going, ooh, LaShanda knows a lot about blogging. Ooh, LaShanda knows a lot about marketing. Ooh, I'm piquing her interest, right? So the first thing you've got to do is you've got to think about and you've got to give her what she wants, and then you've got to show her what you know about that one thing. Now, when it comes to building websites and technology and entrepreneurship, yes, I share a lot, and I could talk a lot about a lot of things. But right now, we're talking about one offer, my blogging for beginners training. And in order for me to sell that, in order for me to convert people from browsers to buyers when they get to the site and they see the training, the first thing I have to do is be clear about what that particular woman wants and how I'm going to show her what I know so that I pique her interest. We get to the step number 3 and number 4. Again, I'm going to show you that in browsers to buyers. So you go over to bootcamp.sistersense.com. I'll walk you through the full 4 steps. But the first thing I want you to do is for yourself to get clear about the first 2 steps of this process, okay? Give her one thing she wants and show her how much I know about that one particular thing. So, once I get to that point, I have to tell her something very specific, because that's what step number 3 is all about. There's something in particular that I've got to tell her before she is like, okay, I'm ready to buy. And I tell people this all the time. Believe it or not, step number 3 is the one that most people miss, because I'm sure you probably are familiar with some of these steps, that it's not foreign to you. You know that you've got to focus on what your potential target audience, your target person wants. You know that you have to validate and prove and show them what you've got. But a lot of people skip step number 3, they kind of like fumble through step number 4, and then they're like, oh my God, maybe they will buy, but they won't. And especially with step number 2, I will say this. A lot of times, especially for women, when you feel like you really need to over deliver, you've got to prove, you put yourself in this space where you're like, okay, you can try this, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, and you're giving out all this information, and you're not sure on when to turn off the tap. Right? You're not sure when you're giving away too much, and you're getting to a space where people are convinced that there's the value and they should buy, which is why, understanding step number 3 is important. And I'm going to tell you in that step over at the Browsers to Buyers Bootcamp. Once you get in part of it and you walk through the process with me, I'm going to tell you the next thing is the one thing that I tell her, which is really important. She needs to know that, and it's really something that's going to motivate her to get excited about buying from me. The other thing that we'll talk about inside of the Browsers for Buyers clarity call, that's the first part of this whole process with me. The first session is clarity, so you can get clear about what needs to happen, and that's actually 90 minutes so that we can walk you through the process and I can evaluate the offers that you either currently have or the offers that you want to create. So once I tell you exactly what I tell her in step number 3, an important step you definitely don't want to skip, then I talk about the one key killer offer that changed everything for me, the one thing that changed everything for me with respect to selling my products and services online. I've been online for 15 years now. I've been working for myself at home full time for over 7 years now. So I'm not a 9-to-5er. I'm not somebody who's telling you something I've read out of a book. These are the strategies that I implement in my business as a full-time web designer, work at home mom. 99.9% of my business comes from sales online. So I'm telling you what I've learned and what I utilize in my business to get people comfortable enough to go from browsers to buyers in my space. Okay. So I want to share with you in my process, the one killer thing that I did, the key offer that I created that really helped me make more sales and convert more people, get them to see the value of what I was providing. And that, okay, I'm jumping ahead of myself because that is what I'm going to talk about with you there. But right now we're focused on the first 2 steps of this 4-step process to creating, or I should say converting browsers to buyers. Now, what I want you to think about is the fact that there are certain questions that you have to ask yourself, okay? Before that you can actually sell to people, again, you have to get clear about what it is that you're selling, what your offers are, and how you're going to create triggers that are going to motivate people to get excited about what you've got, okay? So whether you're in the process of you're a newbie and you're creating your first new offers, or you've got a couple of offers that you're trying to push, first thing I want you to do is to think about one offer that you really want to focus on right now, okay? So you maybe have a couple of them, but one that you really want to push, because again, this process is all about focusing on one particular target person and then selling her one offer. So we're going to focus on one of your core or most important offers to you now. Then you can rinse and repeat this process with other things, okay? As it could be services, packages, programs, physical products, virtual products, whatever. You can start to rinse and repeat the process. So one thing I want you to think about first is, what is that offer that you're focused on and want to push right now? What is it? What does it look like? What's it about? What do you call it? I'll talk about breaking it down and analyzing it a lot more once we get into the clarity call over at the Browsers to Buyers Bootcamp. But first, I want you to start writing down these questions. So when I get into that 90-minute clarity session, you're like, girl, I got my answers. I'm ready for you. I'm ready for you. So what is that one offer that you're trying to push right now? What does it look like? What is it called? Who is this offer for? Okay? Who is that particular target person that you had in mind? Now, keep in mind, I'm giving you some nuggets already because I said to you, if you had everybody in mind, that's wrong. You need to dig down a little bit deeper and you need to focus on one person, okay? And I'll break it down for you. I'll give you some specific examples and even give you an opportunity to let me know what you're working on so that we can get to the core of that one offer. But who is this particular offer for? That's an important question for you to ask yourself right now. And when you think about this particular person, this woman, if you're like me and your target person is a woman, what does she really want? You know, if you're going to get to that point where in those first two steps, you're giving her one thing that she wants and you're showing her what she, the one thing, giving her one thing that she wants and you're showing her what you know about that one thing. If you're going to do that, those first two steps, you've got to be clear about what she really wants, right? So whether you know it because you're an expert and you've been in the industry for a long time, or you actually asked her what she wants, what it is that you, or maybe you just have kind of an assumption of what you think she wants based on what you see is missing in your industry, or, you know, if you sell a beauty product, or, you know, you sell clothing, a clothing line, you know, you're that fashionista and you know what looks good. What is it that she really wants? Those are the first three questions. I've got a ton more to ask you inside the clarity session, but those are the first three things I want you to reflect on so you're ready for us to rock inside of Browsers to Buyers. One offer that you really want to push right now, who is this offer for, and what does she really want? Okay, reflect on that. Think about the experience, and for these two steps, by the way, I really want you to think about for yourself, are these things that you've subconsciously been trying to take advantage of, but you've been trying to figure out how you can show people what you know, and you've been trying to figure out what your customers or that particular person really wants. Be conscious of that. And I also want you to reflect on, at the very beginning of this session, I talked about the things that folks are doing wrong. Don't want to hurt your feelings now, but I definitely want to give you an opportunity to check yourself on that and see if there are strategies you've been trying to implement and hope and pray that things will change, but things aren't changing because you're stuck in the same routines of things that are not working, okay? Now, at the end of the day, my goal is to help you really get a sense of what you need to do to create connections between the offers that you have created and the people you are trying to reach. You need to have a connections between what you have, what they want, what they need. There's synergy between the two. And if there's a disconnect, people go, they look, they see, they go, that's interesting, and they walk away. We don't want the disconnect. We want there to be clear connections so that you can motivate people to buy. So let's do this. Let's move the conversation over. I think I've said way more than I need to say here, but there's so much more that I need to say. So let's move the conversation over to the Browsers to Buyers Bootcamp over at bootcamp.sistasense.com so that you can listen to the full 90-minute session. That's the first of 5 sessions that we have, okay? So the first session is a 90-minute Browsers to Buyer clarity session, and we're going to continue talking about the questions I want you to reflect on so you can take a look at the current offers that you have. I'm going to share the complete 4-step process that I use to convert buyers to browsers. I'll tell you specifically that one key killer offer, the one thing that changed everything for me in my business. And again, you'll have the opportunity to really evaluate what you're doing now so that you can figure out what's missing. Now, once you do that clarity session, then you'll have the opportunity to participate in the next 4 sessions. So hopefully you have the opportunity to participate in a live, but if not, you get the opportunity to listen to the replay, so that there are 4 sessions we're going to go through. And in each of those sessions, I'm going to talk about the key channels that you should be interacting with your customers on. So the first channel is your website. That's your home base. You want to figure out how you're going to be able to convert those browsers to buyers on your website. Then in session number 2, we're going to talk about how you convert those browsers to buyers via email. Next session, we go into how you convert browsers to buyers via social media. And then we wrap things up talking about how you convert browsers to buyers via direct marketing. And when I say that, I don't mean direct sales marketing. I mean directly interacting with your customers, whether you're doing it face-to-face, via audio, via video. I'll break it down and show you the things that you may be missing and how you can tweak your strategies to make people really get a sense of the value of what you have and then feel comfortable, if not excited, about just whipping out that credit card and buying what you have to offer, okay? So once you get an inside of that and you get the clarity session, which is the first one, and then the 4 intensive sessions where I walk you through the process, inside of each of these sessions, I have an activity that I want to share with you. I always believe that, it's not just about giving you a whole bunch of information. You need practical solutions that you can implement. So within each session, you have one specific activity that you can utilize. Now, this activity actually is going to help you create a 4-week 30-day action plan, so that once we finish our 5 sessions together, which you have access to listen to, you can download them, listen to them wherever you are, you can listen to them online. Once you have that, it's the next step is going through your 30-day action plan. So I give you the activities to help you build that, and then you can say, well, you can let me know if you say, LaShanda, I need even more time so we can one-on-one work on it together. But I'm giving you the tools so that you can DIY, learn how to improve your customer conversion and sales efforts as best as you can based on the strategies that I've been using in my business for years. Plus, last but not least, I'm giving you a bonus. I love to give bonuses. I am just an information girl, and I always love to give you something, a little something extra. So you will get access to my Why People Buy series. I think it's really important for you to understand why people buy and how that affects your bottom line. Because if you don't get that stuff, if you can't really figure out the triggers and the words and the strategies that you need to use to motivate people to buy, again, all that other stuff ain't worth a can of beans. You know, it's kind of like you get people to that website. If the website is not buying for you, or the emails you're sending out, they're not converting for you, then you're just going to keep doing the same thing. I mean, to me, it doesn't make sense. So my goal really is to show you the strategies that work for me so that you can figure out what works best for you. At the end of the day, I know the struggle is really real. Most web entrepreneurs online are struggling to generate a few sales, let alone steady sales. So it's my, for me, it's kind of like my purpose in what I'm doing here, to be able to show you what I do and, just kind of get you thinking about how what you're doing right now, if it's working for you, if you're happy with your current results, if you're looking for better results, help you get a sense of what I do so that you can potentially improve how you do things online. And then ultimately, I want you to get in a space where you're thinking about conversion marketing, because I don't honestly know how often you hear the term. I'm sure that people tell you a lot about email marketing, blog marketing, social media marketing, online marketing, and everybody's saying, okay, you need to be on Google Hangout, you need to be on Twitter, you need to be on Periscope, that's the new thing, you need to be on Instagram, or you need to use Lead Pages, or you need to use Infusionsoft. I'm sure people are telling you or selling you all these different social media trends or lead generation tools, but at the end of the day, who is really willing to walk you through the process and tell you exactly what they do to convert browsers to buyers? I know not many people are willing to do that. I'm pretty sure, if not, absolutely certain, that the gurus you're following, they're not telling you how to do that. But I really want to do that inside of my browsers to buyers bootcamp. So I hope that it's something that you're interested in and you are excited about taking part in. Like I said, 99% of my sales online come from this whole concept of conversion marketing. I know the steps that you need to follow to convert those visitors to actual buyers, and how to make those other marketing strategies, from email, social marketing, blog marketing, and everything in between, how to make it work better once you understand what it takes to convert buyers. So look, the struggle does not have to be real. The struggle does not have to be real forever. I want you to get those steady sales. I don't want you to have to go to the dollar store and be in that space where you're getting, chicken at the dollar store, and you are, flourishing, you're thriving, and you're building a business that grows for you every year. So all fun and jokes aside, it's really important for me to, again, at Sister Sense, help you make sense of making money online. That's the thing that I've committed to doing with my business. That's the purpose that I feel so empowered about, helping you get that clarity and helping you ultimately create better lives for others through the products and services that you share. So join me on over at bootcamp.sistersense.com for the full browsers to buyers bootcamp experience. We've got a lot more to talk about, so see you there. Take care.